How did you know what your purpose was?
You're not going to, probably. In your early 20s, we're still trying to figure out the difference between our elbow and our ass. It's just normal. There's too much we don't know about the world, right? We're operating from theory. And most of the theories that we got were either from our family, our friends, or our culture. Theoretical knowledge means we have an idea of how something should be, but we have no experiential knowledge to back it up. That's most of your 20s, which is why God, in her infinite wisdom, if she was like, yo, you want to go run your 20s back in this lifetime? I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'll stay in my 40s. That's great. It's funny because some people will say, wouldn't you trade back for your 20s? I'm like, no, I don't know. Maybe somebody would, but I would not. And it wasn't like my 20s sucked. I was just still operating from theoretical knowledge, as are most people in their 20s. So you're not likely going to know your purpose. Worse, if you knew your purpose from day one, you'd probably fuck it up because you try to make it work, right? You try to, in your head, plan how it's all supposed to go. Here's the thing. If you plant an apple seed, what are you getting? Is there any other possibility? No. How about a peach? That's all you're getting. Cherry? You get it then. Every one of you have seeds of greatness in you. Every single one of you have a purpose. You came here for a purpose, I promise you. You don't even need to figure it out. You just need to plug yourself in a place where you can grow, and those seeds will show themselves. And you'll figure out who you are and what you're about. You'll find your purpose. But you need to be somewhere where you grow. That's the only condition. This is why it's interesting. I just read a stat. 91% of small business owners are happy. Happy. Fascinating. Guess what percentage of employees are looking for other work and are not happy? It's in the 70s. Why? Turns out humans like feeling autonomous. We like feeling empowered. We like feeling like it's on us. And especially if you work in a small business, you are more likely to be happy with your job. If you work in a big business, you are more likely to be unhappy with your job. Why? It's probably because you feel like you're part of a community. Like in my business, anyone can reach out to me. I don't care who you are. You're a day one, you've been with me 10 years. If you come up with a genius idea, we're gonna implement it. Try doing that in a big business. Not happening. Maybe you write a memo, you get inspired one night and you send it up the bureaucratic email chain and it comes back a mutilated mess and says, you can try this. You're like, well, that's not gonna do it.
How do you prepare for a meeting? What do you focus on mentally during the process?
There's two things. One, I'm always taking notes on other people's meetings so that I have a playbook of meetings I can run for different things. And then I'm getting really good at knowing which meeting to run for what condition. So that's number one. Have a playbook of your favorite stories, your favorite lessons, your favorite principles that you can teach, and that you don't have to even look at notes. They're just there, right? It's like a bunch of tools in your toolbox. Number two, look at the numbers. Every number in our business is tied to a system. If you're looking at the numbers, you can figure out what system needs to improve or which one is broke. And then the other two levers is focus and energy. I'm always looking at the focus and energy of a room. Okay, so if I'm home base and we're launching an office, we're pushing energy where? Out, which means home base needs to be aware of that. Now this is gonna be a little bit different, but the momentum is the same. Usually the launch office has a ton of energy because there's inherently a ton of energy going with it. Look at all the people that showed up to celebrate this. And then that energy is felt for usually about 90 days. So the launch office will get that kind of tailwind that pushes them. Then they have to grow into it and learn how to sustain that when everyone is back to normal and now you're another outside deal and it's just time to get going. And if you don't have the ability to feed and energize yourself, it's like, it just doesn't feel, because you were rolling on the energy that was being directed at you. Home base usually feels a little bit of a vacuum because leadership is missing now that wasn't there. Now it's a little bit different when they stay in office with you, but the rule applies. And so the two levers I'm looking at is always the focus and energy. So today, the energy will likely be very high. Focus will probably be very distracted. And so if that isn't adjusted, it may not be a very good day in the field. Now, my top players, doesn't matter. They manage their focus and energy and they'll get her done. The middle group is the group that usually struggles because they're excited about the future. They're excited about what could be for them. There's a lot of energy around it, but unless they have the discipline to focus back on getting it done today, they'll never get there. And that's so much of humanity, right? I don't know how many people get super excited about what could be, that it literally blunts them from doing what is necessary to get there. It's like they get off on the idea of being a success so much that it keeps them from actually doing the work. Classic. Which is why to this day on my phone, I have 2 reminders that go off every day. What revenue generating activity I've done today, because you don't have a business if you don't generate revenue. Yes, I know this can be very complicated to understand for some, but it's true. And the second is, what value have I added to my people today? I don't have a business without my people. This isn't a business of one. And I love that. But it takes everybody to make it work.
What are some of the things that you were doing on a daily basis over and over to get better as a leader?
What's the difference between leadership and management? You guys talked about it. Define it.
Basically, a manager is just numbers-based, very real structure. The leader is more so inspiring and very people-oriented.
Managers can be talented too. Don't poo-poo management. It's an important skill set. They're both important. Although I would say this, if you're a great manager but you're a poor leader, you'll probably have a small, consistent team. If you're a great leader but a poor manager, your team will probably be a roller coaster ride, but it'll be big. You need both. Both skill sets are important. Generally speaking, we're usually naturally good at one or the other. But management is about being efficient. Leadership is about being effective. Managers have a super hard time with leaders if they're hardcore managers, because they look at things that the leader is doing and they go, that's not efficient. Yes, but it's effective, right? So for me, if taking an extra 5 minutes in a meeting is going to solidify the outcome, especially if it was a fucking 60-minute meeting, I will take the extra 5 minutes. I'm not gonna just cut it short and not actually get to the end, right? Because we're over time, right? As a leader, I'm like a fucking wizard. I show up exactly when I mean to. That can be irritating for managers. Like, we're supposed to start at, well, I'm focusing on effectiveness, not efficiency. Also, managers tend to focus on their one little part of the puzzle. Leaders have to look at the entire board. Make sense? But they're both important. And leadership is about inspiring. It's about vision. It's about showing people where we're going together. That's what's important. And so that's a practice. Now, how do you get there? Well, who's the first person you have to learn how to lead?
Yourself.
Who's the only person you got to learn how to motivate?
Yourself.
Perfect. You lead by example or you don't lead at all, and the right people will follow. As a leader, however, you have to be conscious of who's in the room. And the decisions and the things you say and do are based on the newest person in the room. So if there's entry levels, brand new people in a room, my information and how I'm sharing it is going to be catered to them, not the most senior guy in the room.
Do you, as a leader, necessarily focus only on your team or the entire office?
I would treat the office like it's mine, and sure enough, it will be. Yeah, and that means, to get hammer here a little bit more, that means it's not just what you do in the office, it's what you do outside. So for me, I left team night 11:30. Nothing good happens after midnight. If I drank, which was very rarely, I had a single drink. Wasn't gonna get stupid or irresponsible or sloppy, especially with a bunch of new people. It's not really me anyway, but that's just things I would be conscious of. Make sense? Leadership sucks, by the way. I get if people are like, I don't want to sign up for that, because it means it's not about you. That's tough. That's tough for a lot of people because they're inherently about them. If it isn't clear yet, this business isn't good for you if you're about yourself. You get to your goals by helping other people get to their goals, which I fucking love. But if you're a hired gun who just wants to go make a bunch of money and you don't really give a fuck about other people, go sell insurance or something. Not this business.
What kind of elements do you apply from chess to your business as a leader?
A lot. First principle thinking. So in chess, first goal is to control the center of the board. You control the center of the board, you control the game. It's the same in life, it's the same in business. You want to put yourself in a position and you're answering, what is the one thing that if I solve for, solves for the most other things? What gives me the most option? So position is really important. Key to timing is preparation. Position on the chessboard gives you an opportunity to take advantage of mistakes and wrong positioning of your opponent. It's the same in life. Our preparation is the key to timing. There's a lot of things that I take from chess and apply in real world. Also thinking 5 to 10 moves ahead versus 1 move ahead. So many people are thinking 1 move ahead, which is why they're like a dog chasing their tail constantly in life. They're just thinking about their next move.